Welcome to English for Life, where learning English is fun and easy every day.
Hey, English learners! Welcome back, your cozy place to learn easy English through real-life conversations. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jake. We're so happy you're here with us today.
And today, we're talking about something that feels very modern, very personal, and honestly, very frustrating sometimes.
Yes, because we live in a time when almost everything is supposed to make life easier.
We have washing machines, mixers, juicers, vacuum cleaners, dishwashers, so many inventions that are supposed to save time and make daily life easier.
Right, and not just that. Food comes to the door, payments take seconds, reminders remember things for us, and every app seems to promise a faster, easier life.
And yet, isn't it strange, even with all of that, so many people still feel rushed, behind, and tired?
Yes, and that is the part that feels almost confusing, because when we think about our parents, grandparents, or even older generations, they had fewer machines, fewer shortcuts, and nowhere near the same technology.
Exactly. They did so much by hand. Daily life was harder in many ways.
And still, a lot of us look back and feel like they had something we're missing now, more breathing room.
Yes, more real free time, more hobbies, more evenings that felt slower, more moments that were not broken into tiny pieces.
Right. Somehow they had time to cook, talk, visit people, sit outside, fix things, read, garden, do hobbies. And now we have machines helping us with everything, but we are still saying, sorry, I'm so busy.
Yes, we have more convenience, but somehow less calm.
And I think that contrast hits people deeply because it makes us ask a very honest question. If life is easier now, why do we still feel like we never have enough time?
Exactly. Why does a world full of time-saving tools still leave so many people feeling mentally crowded?
Because that is the real feeling, isn't it? Not just busy, but crowded. Too many little things, too many tabs open in the mind, too many small demands pulling at us all day.
Yes, you wake up, check one thing, reply to one thing, remember three other things, and suddenly your brain is already in a meeting it did not ask to attend.
That is painfully accurate.
And I think so many people know this feeling. The day goes by, you were active, you were busy, you answered things, you handled things, but in the evening, you still think, wait, what did I actually do with my day?
Yes, life became more convenient in many ways, but it also became noisier, faster, and more demanding in ways people do not always notice.
So in this episode, we want to talk about that. Not in a stressful way, not in a do more, do more, do more way.
Right. We want to share 9 practical ideas that can help you make the most of your time, protect your energy, and feel more present in your own life.
And because this is the English Leap podcast, we're doing all of this through English you can really use in real life. This is a B2 level episode, so the language will be a little richer, but still natural, clear, and comfortable to follow.
Yes, so please don't worry if you don't catch every single word. Just stay with us, listen for the feeling, and let your English grow naturally as you listen.
And later in the episode, we'll also explore some powerful words and expressions, so stay with us for that too.
And before we begin, if you enjoy learning English through honest, meaningful conversations like this, please like the episode, subscribe to the channel, and join the English Leap family.
And today, we'd really love to hear from you.
What quietly steals the most time from your day?
You can keep your answer short and simple, or share a little of your own experience. We always love reading your thoughts.
Because sometimes we do not lose time in one big, dramatic way. We lose it little by little in ways we hardly notice.
And maybe this is a good place to talk about that.
All right.
Let's begin.
Honestly, I think people are wrong when they say the day begins in the morning. I think the day begins the night before.
Jake! Sorry, listeners. I think Jake did not sleep well last night.
What? Why am I being attacked for telling the truth?
Because that sounded less like a life lesson and more like a confession.
Okay, maybe a little, but still, it is true.
No, but really, I agree. A lot of people wake up already tired, already rushed, already mentally crowded, and then they blame the morning.
Exactly. But the morning is often just the result. If the night was too late, too noisy, or emotionally messy, the next day starts with damage already done.
Oh, yes. People say, I need a better morning routine, but sometimes what they really need is a gentler ending to the day.
Right. If the night ends with one more task, one more episode, one more scroll, one more worry, the mind never really lands.
Oof, yes. The body goes to bed, but the mind stays open.
So maybe the real takeaway is this. A better tomorrow often begins with a calmer ending tonight.
And once the mind starts carrying too much from the night, it becomes much easier to overload it again during the day.
Yes, and not all tiredness comes from hard work. Some tiredness comes from too much useless input.
Exactly. Too many updates, too many opinions, too many random little things entering your head and leaving a mess behind.
And that is where people often squander their attention.
Right. Squander means to waste something valuable in a careless way.
And attention is valuable. Peace is valuable. Clear thinking is valuable. But people lose these things little by little, not all at once.
Yes, one tiny random check feels harmless. Then another one feels harmless. Then somehow your brain feels like a room after a children's birthday party.
Very loud, very sticky, very hard to clean.
Exactly. And the scary part is, not everything that enters your mind deserves to live there.
Right. Some things inform you. Other things just crowd you.
So maybe the takeaway is simple. If you want a clearer life, you have to protect your mind from useless noise.
And when the mind gets too crowded, even the smallest unfinished tasks start feeling much heavier than they should.
Oof, yes, this one is painfully real. Sometimes the biggest stress in a day is not one huge problem, it is 5 tiny unfinished things.
A reply, a booking, a payment, a form, a call. Small tasks, big personalities.
Exactly. And this is where people often let something slide.
Right. Let something slide means to ignore it or allow it to be neglected.
At first, it feels small. I'll do it later. But then later becomes tomorrow. And tomorrow becomes 3 days. And suddenly, the task is taking up emotional space it never deserved.
I had that with one simple email recently. It should have taken 4 minutes, but because I delayed it, it started feeling like I was writing to a king.
Why do tiny tasks become so royal in the mind?
I do not know, but they do.
And that is the trap. The task stays tiny, but the mind keeps carrying it.
So the takeaway is this. Sometimes peace does not come from doing more. It comes from closing one small loop before it starts following you around.
And when too many loops stay open, even your energy starts dropping fast.
Yes, because people still act like nonstop effort is proof that they are serious.
Right, as if being exhausted all the time means you are doing life correctly.
And sometimes, yes, life is demanding. Sometimes you do have to work hard. But if you never pause, your body usually chooses the pause for you.
Yes, through irritability, brain fog, exhaustion, headaches, that strange feeling where even one small question feels offensive.
Yes, someone asks, "What do you want for dinner?" And suddenly, for your tired brain, it feels like the hardest question in the world.
Exactly.
And this is where wear yourself out fits perfectly.
Right. Wear yourself out means to make yourself too tired through effort or stress.
And a lot of people wear themselves out trying to be productive every second, then wonder why the whole day starts feeling gray.
That's why breaks are so important. They do not ruin a good day, they protect it.
So the takeaway is clear. Do not wait until your body is shouting. Small pauses now are much kinder than collapse later.
And beneath that tiredness, there's often a deeper truth. The problem is not only time, the problem is energy. Exactly.
because 1 free hour means very little if you are too drained to think, focus, or feel alive inside it.
Yes, free time is not always usable time.
Oof, that line hurts because it is true.
Right. A lot of schedules fail because they are out of sync with real human energy.
Out of sync means not working in harmony or rhythm.
So on paper, the plan looks perfect. But if your sleep is poor, your mind is heavy, or your body is tired, the plan and the person are no longer moving together.
And then people blame themselves. Why am I so lazy? But maybe they are not lazy. Maybe they are empty.
Exactly. You cannot build a meaningful day on borrowed energy forever.
So the takeaway is this. Protect your sleep, your rest, your body, your mind. Time matters, yes, but energy is what makes time usable.
And once you start respecting your energy, you begin to notice that some hours of the day are far more powerful than others.
This point is so practical.
Because not every hour has the same value.
Exactly. Some hours are sharp and alive. Some hours feel like your brain arrived wearing slippers.
Very true.
And yet people often spend their best hour on the least important thing.
Right, which is why reclaim matters here.
Yes, reclaim means to take back something that was lost.
So sometimes making the most of your time is really about reclaiming your best attention from weak priorities.
Yes. Do not spend your clearest hour on your weakest task.
Wow, that one line could change a whole week.
Because when you give your best energy to crumbs, you have nothing strong left for what actually matters.
So the takeaway is simple. Identify your golden hours and protect them for real work, real thinking, and real priorities.
And protecting those hours often means protecting them from one more quiet thief: unnecessary yeses. Yes, time is not always stolen dramatically. Sometimes it is stolen very politely.
Exactly. Through a quick favor, a small request, or one of those sweet little lies. It'll only take 5 minutes.
Yes, famous last words.
And I think some people cling to busyness because it makes them feel useful or needed.
Right. Cling to means to hold on to something too tightly.
So even when busyness is exhausting them, they still hold on to it because it feels like proof. Proof that they matter, proof that they are important.
Oof, that is deep. Because sometimes saying yes is not kindness. Sometimes it is fear.
Exactly, and every unnecessary yes becomes a quiet no to your peace, your focus, your rest, your own life.
So boundaries are not cold, they are protective.
That is the takeaway. Not every request deserves your life. You are allowed to say no before your day gets eaten from the edges.
And when you stop leaking time everywhere, something beautiful happens. You start noticing life again.
This point feels emotional to me, because time does not only disappear through work, sometimes it disappears through speed.
Exactly. When life gets too fast, the days do not just pass, they blur.
Breakfast becomes background. Walks become rushing. Even rest becomes another task.
So true. And then people say, this week vanished. But the truth is, the week was barely felt.
Because speed steals detail, and detail is where life is actually felt.
That is beautiful.
Which is why sometimes you have to carve out time for slowness.
Right. Carve out time means to deliberately create time for something.
A quiet walk, a slow meal, a real conversation, 10 minutes without noise. These moments look small, but they return you to your own life.
So the takeaway is this. Slowing down is not wasting time. Sometimes it is the only way to stop losing your life in pieces.
And that leads us to the final truth, because this is not really about becoming more efficient, it's about becoming more conscious.
Exactly. If time management becomes another way to pressure yourself, then we missed the whole point.
Right. The goal is not to become some perfect machine with flawless routines and a glowing face at 5 a.m.
Very suspicious person. We do not know them.
We do not.
The real goal is simpler and deeper. It is to build a life you can actually sustain.
Right. Sustain means to continue something over time.
So the best routine is not the most impressive one. It is the one that still works on an ordinary, messy, tired Tuesday.
Yes, real life is the test, not the fantasy version.
And making the most of your time is not about squeezing more into the day. It is about losing less of yourself inside the day.
Beautiful.
So maybe the final takeaway is this. The goal is not a fuller schedule. The goal is a fuller life.
Slowly, kindly, consciously.
Yes, that is how real change stays.
And honestly, we used some really good words while talking about all this.
We did. So this feels like the perfect moment to slow down and look at some of them together.
Yes, because sometimes the best way to really remember new English is to hear it in a real conversation first, and then slow down and look at it more closely.
Exactly. That way, the words do not feel random. They feel connected to real life, real feelings, and real situations.
So let's start with a strong word from today's episode: squander.
To squander something means to waste something valuable in a careless way. In today's episode, we talked about how people often do not lose time dramatically. They squander it little by little.
For example, a lot of people squander their energy on things that don't really matter.
Or, he did not lose the whole day at once. He squandered it in small pieces.
Repeat: squander.
Squander. Next, a very useful word: drift.
Drift means to move without a clear direction. We used it to describe how people sometimes move through the day without really deciding where their attention should go.
For example, it is easy to drift through the evening when you are tired and distracted.
Or, without clear priorities, your mind can drift from one thing to another. Repeat: drift.
Drift. Next, another natural word: juggle.
To juggle means to manage many things at the same time. It often gives the feeling of trying to keep everything in the air without dropping anything.
For example, modern life teaches people to juggle work, home, and personal goals all at once.
Or, she is juggling too many responsibilities and it is exhausting her. Repeat: juggle.
Juggle. Now let's look at a really useful word: sustain.
To sustain something means to continue it over time. In this episode, we talked about building habits and routines you can actually keep, not just start for 2 or 3 days.
For example, the best routine is not the most impressive one. It is the one you can sustain.
Or, small healthy habits are easier to sustain than extreme ones. Repeat: sustain.
Sustain. Next, a great phrase: cling to.
To cling to something means to hold on to it too tightly. In today's discussion, we said that some people cling to busyness because it makes them feel important or needed.
For example, some people cling to old habits, even when those habits are making life harder.
Or, he was clinging to busyness because slowing down felt uncomfortable. Repeat: cling to.
Cling to. Next, a strong and useful word: reclaim.
To reclaim something means to take it back after losing it. In this episode, we used it to talk about taking back your best attention and your best hours.
For example, she reclaimed her evenings by turning off unnecessary noise.
Or, sometimes time management is really about reclaiming your attention. Repeat: reclaim.
Reclaim. Next, a very expressive phrase: wear yourself out.
If you wear yourself out, you make yourself too tired through too much effort or stress. It's what happens when you keep pushing and never really pause.
For example, some people wear themselves out trying to be productive every second.
Or, if you never rest properly, you can wear yourself out without noticing. Repeat: wear yourself out.
Wear yourself out. Next, a very practical phrase: let something slide.
To let something slide means to ignore it or allow it to be neglected. We used it to talk about small tasks that people delay until they become mental noise.
For example, when life gets busy, people often let small responsibilities slide.
Or he let one simple task slide and then it stayed in his mind all week. Repeat, let something slide.
Let something slide. Next, an excellent phrase. Carve out time.
To carve out time means to deliberately create time for something important. It means you do not just wait for free time to appear, you make space for it on purpose.
For example, she carves out time every evening to read and think quietly.
Or, if something matters to you, you usually have to carve out time for it. Repeat, carve out time.
Carve out time. And finally, a very helpful phrase. Out of sync.
If something is out of sync, it is not working in harmony or rhythm with something else. In the episode, we used it to describe schedules that do not match real human energy.
For example, sometimes your plan fails because it is out of sync with your energy.
Or, he looked free on paper, but in real life, his day was completely out of sync with how he actually felt. Repeat, out of sync.
Out of sync. Those were today's word tour expressions.
And these are not just good English words, they are very real-life words. So try to notice them, repeat them, and use them in your own sentences this week.
Even one or two of them can make your English sound more natural, more expressive, and more thoughtful.
Yes, and more importantly, they can help you express real thoughts in a deeper, clearer way.
So don't worry about using all of them at once. Just choose one or two that stayed in your mind today and try to use them this week in your own speaking or writing.
Because that is how English grows best, not through pressure, but through small, real use again and again.
And honestly, today's episode was not really just about managing time better.
Right. It was also about protecting your attention, your energy, your peace, and the feeling of actually being present in your own life.
So if one idea stayed with you today, let that be enough. One small shift can change the feeling of a whole day.
Maybe it's ending tonight a little more gently. Maybe it's closing one small task. Maybe it's saying no once. Maybe it's simply slowing down enough to notice your own life again.
And if this episode gave you something meaningful, we'd really love to hear from you in the comments.
What is one thing that quietly steals time from your life? And what is one small change you want to make after listening today?
You can keep your answers short and simple, or share a little of your own story. We always love reading your thoughts.
And if this conversation helped you, please like the episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need it too.
This is Anna.
And this is Jake.
Bye.